So my impressions, videos and stuff like that, I know I've been saying this a lot during these videos, but my impressions and hands-on time at Summer Game Fest this year were something that were really, it's been something that's just really stuck with me. And it's been something, I feel like it's like one of the best events that I've gone to in recent years when it comes down to sitting down and having these amazing conversations with these development studios about their passion projects that are these games that they're working on. And I really have seen a growth of passion and love for these games. I don't know if they're just like, when they send these developers out, they're like, who's the most passionate? But I feel like this year I really ran into some really great people, and the representatives over from Fuse Games gave me an opportunity of sitting down and checking out Star Wars Galactic Racer. It's also been brought to you and published by Secret Mode. The game is coming out to PlayStation 5, Xbox, and PC October 6th. But this game is something that I think Star Wars fans are going to freak out about and love, but I also think racing fans are really going to want to try this game out. Star Wars Galactic Racer is a high-stakes, run-based reinvention of racing, born in the lawless outer rim of the Star Wars galaxy. The Empire's grip on the galaxy is finally broken, and as the New Republic struggles to rebuild, gambling, entertainment, and glory fuel a booming underground. And from this chaos, a new obsession has risen: speed. So in this game, it's really something crazy, because in the game you play Shade, who is a lone racer from with a dream of glory and revenge. He is from this galaxy. For Shade, the League isn't just about racing, it's a shot at reclaiming destiny. But standing in Shade's way is Kestar Bool, a ruleless rival who currently sits as champion of the Galactic League. As the Galactic League rises, so does the rivalry that could define it. Shade must forge alliances, outpace rivals, and survive long enough to become an elite racing pilot. So this game has a full campaign that, of course, rivals you against Kestar Bool, and you have some of these kind of friends like Darius Pax in the game that help you along your way. And this campaign is something that is going to be somewhat of a sprawling campaign, I feel, with the type of information that I saw in the game while I was playing. I got a full hour to sit down and play it. I feel like the story of this game is going to be sprawling enough that it's going to be able to fill in the gaps where it needs to. Though this is a racing title, I feel like the way that they have designed this game, you'll have that type of feel of like an action adventure while you're racing, because there's times that there was these cutscenes to where it kind of led into certain things. And I feel like there's certain games that you kind of question, like, why is there a campaign? You know what I'm saying? And I kind of questioned that at first whenever I was sitting down and looking at the entirety of this game. I'm like, well, this is just a racing game. Is a campaign going to be something that's going to be worth our time? Or is it going to be better for us just to jump into, multiplayer and arcade mode? But I feel like the campaign is definitely going to be worth your time. You can do a lot of different unlocks in this game mode that will be beneficial to you in arcade and multiplayer as well. But as I said, the arcade is runs based, and it's a solo campaign. And you also have the arcade mode, which you get to race against the clock during certain events across a slew of different planets. You also have scenarios in the game, a longer form of challenges focused on a particular character. Take on events with a starting build that is suited to this character. It's their personality. And when you unlock a racer's style in the campaign, it unlocks in the scenario mode as well. And then, of course, you have the multiplayer aspect, which you can play with up to 11 other players in speeders and 7 other players in pod racers. So, as I said, when you play the game and an event finishes, you'll be able to unlock certain things like upgrades. You'll be able to get upgrades for your core stats. You'll also be able to get parts that you can install on your vehicle to change the behavior and the style and the speed of these vehicles. You can have abilities as well. There's a total of I think up to 5 different abilities that you can kind of connect to your vehicle, like the shield and like a booster and all this stuff. And then you got racer styles. So there's a total of 14 different racer styles to unlock and experiment with. And these feature unique traits and abilities that modify your play style. So something else I was going to say too, players have to use a league entry token to compete in a tour, and these can be collected during your run. Crashing too many times, you'll lose these tokens, which I thought at first I was like, man, this is bullshit. After I kind of started getting a little bit more used to the game, I better understood it, so it's just like most games out there, or like the mobile kind of platform that rose up to the style of play that's out there now, to where once you complete something and you get 3 stars, then you'll be able to get a certain amount of things. But that's kind of how it is with this. Once you complete some of these tasks, you'll be able to gain these tokens that can give you the access that you need to get into tours. And just as long as, I think, as you're in the top 3, then you'll be able to gain tokens. But if you're anything lower than that, then you're going to have a little bit of a hard time. So as I said, most of this stuff is all based down into the campaign structure of the game. So the campaign structure is massively accessible for upgrades, for abilities. There's a mass amount of different types and ways that you can customize your character, but also customize your experience with the play styles, with the racer styles, with the abilities, with the parts and the upgrades that you get while playing during the campaign. You'll be able to gain a lot of different styles of customization. There's also 3 different vehicles in the game. You have the land speeder, the most straightforward vehicle to pilot. It's got very high speed and stability despite what is thrown against them. In a wider galaxy, land speeders serve a variety of purposes, from pleasure vehicles to for city transport. Those used in the Galactic Lead are specially designed with aggressive competitive racing in mind. You also have the speeder bike, which is more agile. You'll be able to have good speed with it and very agile, but I will tell you, there was a lot of times whenever I was playing as a speeder bike and I was facing off against some of these other racers, it is much easier, of course, to damage, bigger possibilities of you wrecking. And then you have the skimmer, the most graceful of racer speeders, banks wide and rolling on to a knife's edge for advanced maneuvering, which you can basically turn the vehicle sideways, kind of like a pod racer, I guess, in that sense. You turn it up and down, vertical, sideways, split through these different real close knit, I guess, in between mountain rocks or I can't even think of what I'm trying to say. Very close quarter areas. You can speed that speeder right through there. Racing speeders are equipped with a new boosting system in addition to the afterburner. The ramjet, once up to operating conditions, switch to the ramjet mode to get a burst of incredible speed. But with that, if you hold on to that ramjet too long, it will eventually overheat your engines and explode. And I had it happen to me a couple of times, okay? So don't hate on me too much. The locations in this game, some of the ones we got to check out were Jakku, also Lantana. Then we got to check out Ando Prime and Sentinel 1, as well as, what was the last one? It was Dervin Akos, or Akos. But the characters in this game are really sprawling. The gameplay is very, very fast-paced. It really has you on the edge of your seat a lot of times while you're playing the game. And I think it was almost kind of it was almost kind of like a breath of fresh air to have a racing experience that was set in the Star Wars universe, because we haven't had one in quite some time. And I feel it really adds a unique style of racing that we need in the genre. I would love to see this turn into a series that comes out like once every 4 years or once every 3 years that has new stories and new planets for you to explore. But like I said, the gameplay was really easy to pick up, really easy to handle. Now, mind you, depending on your style of play and your racing and stuff, at first it did take me just a second to kind of understand exactly what it is, what I was doing, because I haven't played a speeder or Star Wars pod racing game in some time. But I would definitely say make sure to look over the overall control layouts before you really jump into the experience and get a better understanding of what the controls are. I think that's one thing. Like I did run into some people that were like, it was really, really fast paced. It was kind of hard to control. But I feel like if you kind of do your research beforehand and instead of just jumping in thinking everything's going to be A-okay and easy to pick up, you'll understand it better. But the visuals in the game were really, really spectacular. I mean, very clear frame rates, really beautiful visuals. The overall style of the art design and the layout of these levels was very well thought out. I feel like it was something that was really special. And playing as a pod racer, let's talk about that. The pod racing in the game was stupendous, man. It was so great. You could play in first person or third person, and it was just really something special. And there's some pod racers in the game that were not, I did not expect to see in the game, that might be from certain movies. And I was floored, dude. I was really, really floored. I thought it was something really cool, something very different. And the music in the game was like, it was like brain thumping music, man. I mean, I was in the Star Wars universe as a racer. It was something that I am really excited for. I know Jordan over at Cinelink's our boss. You know, I know he is, of course, like dead to rights. Can't wait to play it. But this game was so unique, and it was utterly fast-paced. I could not stop thinking about the game. I eventually went back to the booth and sat down and played it a second time because I just had such a hell of a time playing it. We actually awarded Fuse Games. A Best of Summer Games Fest award. So big shout outs to them. The game is exactly what you think it is. Pod racing is back. Speed racing is back in the Star Wars galaxy. I think you should be very excited about the campaign mode in the game and the multiplayer aspects. Just be ready for this game, because I'm telling you, it is definitely one hell of an experience. So please make sure to check us out at Cinelinks.com for some of the latest and greatest geek news, movie news, and gaming news. Check back soon for more impressions, more reviews, more gameplay sessions, and podcasts. Peace out.